everybody. We're going to be working a file today from Heike, if I'm saying that correctly. Heike Oday. This is our page on Facebook. So this is whose file we're working on. And the file is of the backside of a Mustang. And, you know, whenever you're dealing with inanimate objects, to me, it's got to really be symmetrical. And it's really got to be perfect and pretty, okay? But, you know, being I've been in this business forever, the first thing I look at is some legal things. So, you know, if it's a personal image, I'm thinking for sale. There's no way they're going to let you have a license plate, okay? So the first thing's got to go is that license plate. But you got to have something back here. I don't want to just completely get rid of it. So I was thinking, what if we put the word Mustang inside the license plate? How fun would that be? So first thing I want to do is I want to get rid of any letters and anything that does not have anything to do with Mustang. Well, this S there's an S in Mustang. So I'm just going to paint it out. So I'm just going to use my paintbrush, click Option next to it to paint with that color, normal mode 100%, and I'm just going to paint it out. So I'm going to paint everything out except for the S. Real fast, like that. So this won't take long. Quick paint. And, you know, on something like a license plate, again, we're talking inanimate objects. It's not like people and skin. You know what? That is going to be fine. So just for the sake of that, the next thing I want to do is I want to try to find something. Let me just touch text and put in an S, okay? So now we got an S. Is that the same S? No, not the same S. But first thing I want to do is make sure I get the same color, about the same size. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to take the S, free transform it, Control T, Command, Control, whatever, T, and I'm going to get it bigger and get it about the same size as the other S. Like this. Why is it not adjusting? Here we go. Get it about that big. Okay, now we have an S about the same size. Not the same S, about the same size. It's also not the same color, so I'm going to highlight it, take a sampling of the color of the S that's there. That's close. It's not exact, but close enough. Okay. So now I have an S, and now what I want to do is I want to find an S that would be about the same kind of look. So I'm just going to start at the top of my fonts, and I'm going to click arrow down. But you have to highlight the S. Excuse me, I forgot to do that. And then I'm just arrow down. And so right now I'm just going real fast through all my letters. Oh, that one could work, I suppose. So we look, that one could also work. Tell you what, we're going to make that one be the one. It's close. It's not perfect, but you know what? This ain't a perfect thing anyway. So I'm going to put in the rest of the word, M-U-S-T-A-N-G. Okay, so now I got my Mustang, but I want to finish painting out because I don't want to use that S, because I want it all to match. Paint out this S. Okay, then pull in my text, put that on the license plate, free transform it to get it filling up everything, and even and lined up. All right, so now I have Mustang. Did I spell that right? You know, I'm notorious for that. M-U-S-T-A-N-G, M-U-S-T-A-N-G. All right, very good. Now I want to make it look more like a license plate. So it had a little bit of a bevel on it. So that's down here, FX, bevel and emboss. Okay, that's pretty good. I kind of like that. Maybe a little texture. It had a little bit of a texture to it. Let's click on texture and let's find something. It could be a texture of anything. I don't even know. I should have done this before to give y'all a little bit of a look. Trees, I don't know. Let's try a tree. That's too much texture. How about grass? How about grass texture? No. Okay, I don't know if that would work. How about a water texture? Yeah, that'll work. Okay, now I got a little bit of a texture and a little bit of a bevel emboss. And the only thing I could think of is maybe it could be a little bit bolder. So let's see if there's bold. Medium, bold. Yeah, we'll take that. Okay. And let's look. Yeah, that'll work. Let's look at it big. All right, so now we got legal. We're legal. We're going to flatten that. Legal in that we're not going to be able to see that license plate anymore, okay, in case this is used for something. Next, again, in the commercial world, I showed this trick several times, but I'll show it again, is you find your ruler tool and something that you know is straight, like you know that from here to here is a straight line. And then you go image, rotate, arbitrary. And if it needs rotating, and it looks like it did, we now have a nice straight image. So the next thing I want to do is I want to free transform this image and get rid of the white. And let's see if I like the angle. I don't like the angle. It might be straight, but I don't like the angle. That might have something to do with the way it was photographed too. But I do want to get it centered in the image, filling it left and right, like that. Right about in there, I think. And there. I kind of like that. That looks like a pretty good, nice symmetrical. Maybe just a little bit more here. Yes. All right, I'm kind of liking that too. Now, next, let's take the greens up a bit, because they're kind of flat, kind of not too exciting. So let's go Control U, change it from master to green, and then click in the green. So now we got in this area. Now the car itself is red, so we want to stay away from red. After that, I don't know what else we would want to, not adjust. So we're just staying away from here. This is everything in this dark gray line is what's going to be affected, and it gradually fades out here and fades out here. The top line is what it is. The bottom line is what it will become. Now, I could take those greens and I can make them purple, make them red. Hey, that's kind of freaky. Okay, but we're going to just keep them green because we want them green, but we're going to saturate them green. Not too much, not uncomfortable, but just, 21%. Take it down, say 10%, 8-10%. And now, the before, after. Those greens are a lot more fun to look at. Now I'm going to take the whole image. Now that I got the greens nice and punchy, I'm going to go Control U again, but I'm just leaving it in master mode. I'm going to saturate the whole thing. That way the reds come up, the greens come up, and everything gets a little bit more saturated. Okay. Now, let's start getting into some details, some stuff that's bothered me. Like, what is that paint on the ground? That's distracting me. So if anybody views this image, it's going to distract them. So I'm going to use my healing brush, and I'm going to get rid of that and anything else down here on the ground that distracts me. How about this? And those leaves. I want it to be nice and pristine. You see some of these images and you wonder, wow, how in the world do they find such a pristine area? They don't. Sometimes they do, but a lot of times they don't. It's just fixed later in Photoshop. Okay? So all of these sticks, which would have been so easy to walk over there and get rid of before you photographed it, that would have been my recommendation. But you don't always have that luxury. You don't always see it. You're thinking about the subject. So instead, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and retouch that out of there with the healing brush. Healing brush is going to maintain the texture and the color of the thing that you're doing. Okay? So again, I'm trying to go fast because I know when you're watching one of these things, a lot of times you get bored watching it. So instead of doing every little teensy detail, you're getting the gist of what can be done. All right, so now that that stuff is gone and I'm zoomed in, I can go ahead and fix any little imperfections on the car that I do not like. See, that's a reflection. Looks like someone bumped the bumper in here. So we're going to clean all that up. I see some paint squirrelies. You know what? I'm not going to fix all of this because it's not my car and I'm not getting paid to fix it. But you get the idea. You can go in later and fix every one of these little paint bumps. But you do it again. I do it all of this with the healing brush. Now I will show a neat little trick or problems that I've had run into. Like let's say you want to fix out in here. Well, that actually worked. That wasn't too hard. But how about if we go out here? Watch. And you get really close to this line. You get some of that pull over like that. Let me undo that. So to do that, I'll highlight the line. Okay? Click right on the line. And then I have my healing brush set to where I can see it. And so then I'll get the line and retouch along the line like that. And that way I don't get that, I don't get that pullover. Okay. So anything that bothers me in the car, looks like you got some more streaks and damage back here. I am going to fix all those kinds of things. Again, if this was a commercial job that I had done. All right, let's back up. I'm starting to like that. Car's looking mighty clean. Oop, I see another one. That's not right in here. And we're going to clean that up there. Okay, now that the car's all cleaned up and the foreground's all cleaned up, now I want to start working on the background. And I don't know, telephone poles, to me, big no-no in this kind of picture. So I'm going to get real close to these telephone poles. Using my clone tool, I'm just going to clone out the bottom of that telephone pole so that I'm away from the car, like that. Cloning it out, you grabbing and touching from different areas so as to make sure a pattern doesn't develop. All right, let's go into here, and here, and down here where it touches the car. Again, I want to kind of get that off of the car. I'm trying not to make a pattern, and I'll show you why we're doing that here in a minute, getting it off the car. All right, back up. Now that it's off the car, you can use your patch tool, okay, which is underneath the healing brush. And you just select this whole thing right in there. You slide it over, and it's going to do a fast clone over of that. Same thing with these. I'm going to highlight this whole thing and pull it over. Let's see what this does. It didn't do that bad of a job. I'm going to show you why I'm okay with that. Okay, cool. Now that we've done that, here's a neat little feature inside Photoshop. We're going to use the lasso tool, select all of this white area loosely. Then we're going to go image, where is it? Fill, edit, fill, edit, fill. And we're going to change it to content. There's different colors you can fill it, but we're going to fill it with content aware. Okay? And you click OK. Let's see how good it does. I didn't test this. It may do a horrible job. Well, it didn't do that bad. It put a piece of the car in. But you know what? We're okay with that. Because now we're going to select this area. And we're going to do it again. Edit, fill, content aware. And let's see what it does. Got another piece of the car, but that's okay. We're going to select that piece of the car. Edit, fill, content aware. And we're getting less and less of the car. All right, so now that we've got less and less of the car, we can go over to our clone tool, and then we can just kind of clone the rest out. Select down here, put a big blob, and just like that. Now, sometimes you have this white coming through the trees. I don't like that. That's just me, though. So I will use my healing brush and take every bit of that white out because it's distracting to me. grabbing from different locations in different areas so as to make sure it is nice and clean. So let's go in here. That's that. We still got a little leftover telephone pole. Let's just kind of get over there, get that kind of mush it around, make all this stuff look real. Because again, you know, people are, for the most part, they're going to be looking at the car. They're not going to be looking at this background. So we want it to look real. See, all that looks real. This branch coming out of nowhere bothers me. That all looks real. This looks a little redundant, so we're going to kind of get rid of that. And that looks very redundant, so we're going to get rid of that. Let's see if I like that. Let's look at the whole image again. Hey, I'm starting to like that. Very nice. Now, again, to force your eye into the car, what I'll do is I will use the burn tool. I'm using midtones right now at 30%. And I am just kind of deepening that hole, the trees, so as, again, I don't want nothing distracting. I want you looking at the car. How many times I got to say that? Change it from midtone to highlight, and we're going to burn that foreground down just a little bit. I see a little piece coming through that I need to clone out right there. We'll use the healing brush. It'll go real fast. And I guess I should have used the clone tool. Okay. So there we go. So now we've got an image, kind of, to me it's a lot more fun to look at. See a little white in here that I want to make look a little bit more realistic. So we'll just kind of mush all that up together so my eye isn't pulled away. Yeah, I like that much better than it was. Now finally, again, a commercial image, I'm going to zoom in right here where we want it to be nice and sharp. And I'm going to run my sharpen action. Command F9. And so now, did you see how much sharper that image got? Then what I will do is I will go Shift Command F to fade it back just a little bit. Then I will go Filter, Imagenomics, Noiseware. And what the Noiseware does is it takes out the grain. And then I will sharpen again, F9. And Control F, but this time I'm not going to take much of it away. And so all that image got way more cleaner and sharper and much more fun to look at. Last of all, I am going to do a levels adjustment, Control L, hold down my Option key, making sure which pixels I affect, because I don't want to affect too much in the Mustang. See, I'm starting to see a little bit of detail there, so I'm going to stop, go to the right side slider, and, you know, again, I don't want to mess with too much of the car, but I like that. Let me just go before and after, before, after. I do like the after. We're going to keep it. Last, after all of that, what I will do is I will go over to the sponge tool in saturate mode, make sure vibrance is checked, and your flow is set to 100. And I'm going to look for stuff that I would like to make a little bit more spectacular. Like right here over the Mustang, I want that more spectacular. Right here across the back of the windshield, I want that more spectacular. Over the lights, okay, maybe just right here by the tires. Okay, and then a little bit into the green area. Just what this is going to do is going to make certain areas more vibrant. So I don't want to do everything. I just kind of want to do it in spotted areas to where certain things just become way more fun to look at. Much better. Let's look at the whole image again. And one last thing, I said last, how many times I keep saying last thing, I just keep thinking of other stuff, is I'm going to take those edges really down. Again, I'm in mid-tones, a little bit more, so that it really shoves you into the middle of the image. Okay, so let's go before and after. Here we go. Before and after. Before and after. I'm assuming you're going to like the after more. So I hope this was helpful. Again, I do a small, I'm doing more and more, but I don't do a whole lot of commercial work. Well, that's supposed to be there. I don't do a whole lot of commercial work. I do a pretty good bit of real estate photography, but I do my share of commercial photography. And so anytime I do something like this, I want it to be spectacular and fun to look at. And hopefully this was helpful. If y'all would like for me to retouch one of your images, let me know. Thank you much, and y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.